everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about my network design project. I will go through the process of designing and building this network for the small size company by starting with the consideration of building this network, the equipment that I need, and the plan of the design, including the router, the switches, and the access point, and the cost of all the materials, and the step I will follow to implement this network. Finally, I will make consideration for network growth. I have some basic information provided before I start designing the network for this company, and I know the type of jobs of this company, which is a creative design software. A total of 20 employees will be working in this area. I know that 2 of them is as the reception desk here, and the rest of them will be concentrate on this right-hand corner of this floor plan. I also know that the dimension of the whole floor and the function of each areas, like the meeting room is here, and also the reception desk is here, and also the server room. So I will still have some further questions for this company, like the material of the wall, the location of the power supply. It will affect the performance and coverage of the network, and how the cables go through in the ceiling. The other questions will be the requirement of the network. Will they have some specified protocols and speed to use, the recovery time after network failure, the security and management issues. Also, the other main question will be the budget of this whole project, because it's important for us when we're designing our network. At the same time, we have to control the cost of every items we use and the cost of the neighbor work. So there's one more question to ask, which is the future growth of this company. We have to plan for redundancy and scalability to include new users group. Because network failures are usually very costly, and redundancy increase the reliability by eliminating single points of failure. Network redundancy can be achieved by duplicating network requirement and links. So it's important we have to consider the redundancy for the network before we designing this for this company. Next, I will talk about the equipment that I need for this network, the feature I may be looking for. And these are the basic items needed for this project. The modem usually provided by the ISP, the server rack to place the switch, the router, and the patch panel. Patch panel is a hardware device that provides a large number of ports on the front and to connect the network device like the printers or PCs by the patch cord, which is also the LAN cable and also access point and firewall. When we're designing a network, it's important to select the proper hardware to meet the network requirements as well as allow for network growth. So when we look for a switch, we will look for the port density. In this project, there's approximately 20 IP phones, 2 access points, and also maybe at least 20 Ethernet ports for each person, or maybe more. So I will look for the port density when selecting the switch. And in this project, we may need 2 or 3 switches and 1 for redundancy maybe. And also the other features will be PoE, Power over Ethernet, which allows the switch to deliver power to a device like IP phones and camera and AP. So PoE is a feature of a switch. We don't need the supply to power up the device when we have these features. And also data rates. When we're looking for access point, is device that connects the wireless device to the wired network. It increase the flexibility and reduce costs and the ability to grow and adapt to changing network and business requirements. Next, the company may want the identity and access management for a network administrator to identify each individual and their specific roles in a system. And they may also want functions like adding, removing, or updating the information of their colleagues, assign the levels of access to each individual or groups like the sales and marketing team, the financial team, technical team, or a team for director or managers. They can do this by subnetting the network and protect the sensitive data within each team. That's my plan for subnetting of this company based which mainly based on their requirements. So let's move on to the design part of the network. For designing this network, I've used Unified Design Center to help me to put on all those network devices like the IP phones, the Ethernet ports, and the access point, and the servers, switches, and routers in the server room. I choose this website because it helps me to plug in the variables like the ceiling height and the floor pan scale easily, and help me to calculate the coverage of the access point and the network. For this assigning the IP phones, I've assigned the IP phones and Ethernet port for each of the employees. I also add some extra Ethernet ports to the meeting rooms and the conference lab. So I can easily see the coverage of the access point by clicking this 2.4 GHz. You can see it's covered most of the area of the office, and I put on the access point to the support room and also this room for because most of the employees are staying in this room, and also the coverage in the reception desk are also covered. By 5 GHz, you can see the network coverage is lesser because it's 5 GHz. So it can help me to assign the location of access point and all the other things. In this website, I can also easily choose the proper equipment to be used or installed in the server rooms. Like here, I can click on the rack room. Inside the rack, I've plugged in some Dream Machine Pole, which is the security gateway router, and you can see the PoE ports are used in this floor is 78, so I have to choose two 48 port switch, and you can see the switch here with 48 ports, and also the patch panel to connect the network device, so I use 4 patch panel, and you can also easily add some switch for redundancy. You can easily calculate the PoE ports with this website. So for the slot I have used, now I use 7 to 8 slots, but the rack size I would choose will be 16U because this is a small size company, but it don't allows me to choose the 16U, so I use this 24U rack in this website. Yeah, this is the equipment that I installed in the rack and the server room. For the topology of this network, I can generate this network diagram in this website too. So this is the Dream Machine Pole that I mentioned before, which is the gateway router layer 3 equipment in this project, and also the 48 ports PoE switch layer 2 equipment in this project, which costs around $700, and also different network devices used in this project like the IP phones and Ethernet ports, and also the access point Wi-Fi, which costs around $100, and also is a layer 2 device. And also for the redundant switch here, router costs around $468. We can also check the material we use here and provide the price is provided here, like the we can see the patch cord, which costs around $3.2 for meters. Also, we need to use the indoor cable and also the drag RJ45. The materials are provided here. Here is the total cost of all the equipment used in this project, which includes 1 router, 2 switches, 2 access point, 20 IP phones, 4 patch panel, patch cable, and Cat6 jack RJ45 and indoor cables, which cost around $5,550. I didn't include the server rack and the redundant switch here. If those are included, it may cost around $6,000 something. So what steps I will follow to implement the network? Here's an example of the network implementation plan. First of all, I will install all the hardware in the office like the switches, routers, IP phones, printer, PCs, and complete the cabling between each of the device and the go into the server room. After verifying the connection between in the data link layer, I will configure the hardware in the office, and we need to assign the IP address for each device using maybe DHCP, and after that we have to configure the VLANs of each department. Finally, we need to configure the routing using maybe OSPF and connect to the internet. After that, we have to test the connectivity between all the devices in the office, and this is the steps that I will follow to implement the network design. The last step of this project is what consideration are you making for network growth? As I mentioned before, network growth is important when we are designing a network for a company because the company may grow and increase new users, new employees, and remote website for the coming few years. And so network growth will be a very important factor when we are designing a network. So network redundancy can be achieved by duplicating network equipment, like increasing the number of switches, link or by link aggregation. One of the link aggregation is Ether channel, which increase the bandwidth between devices by creating a logical link made up of several physical links. This allows load sharing of traffic among the links in the channel as well as redundancy if one or more links in the channel failed. So these are the factors that we have to consider when we are designing a network for a company. To conclude, we have walked through all the basic steps that we need to build this network for the small size company, and we also talk about the consideration factors, which includes like network growth, the management issues, security issues to be made during the first stage of designing this network. After that, we'll talk about the equipment that I need to build this project, like the switches, routers, and the features of each of them. We also talk about design of the network using unified design centers and the cost of the whole project. And this is all of my presentation. Thank you.